Welcome to Rhythm, a podcast on being in balance through conversations with the Swami. Namaste, Rhythm listeners. My name is Sunil. I'm with Swami Tadananda from the Ramakrishna Vedanta Center of Auckland, New Zealand. How are you, Swamiji?
I'm very good, Sunil. Thank you. How are you?
I'm good. Very good. Thank you. In the last episode, we talked about rhythm. We talked about the principles of the universe and the flow of energy and how we all lived in this universe. Swamiji, can we today please talk about the application of these principles to our lives?
Yeah, I think that's the next logical step to explore or have a deeper understanding of this rhythm principle that keeps everything in rhythm in us. Rhythm is necessary for our peace of mind, peace in the family, in the community, all around us. So let us start from our own self, the internal rhythm that we all need. And normally we define that as feeling good, I'm happy with myself, I'm at ease with myself, I'm comfortable with myself, I'm at harmony in myself. There's no inner conflicts also. So starting from a physical level, the physical body, human body, the organism is made of so many systems. Digestive system, nervous system, muscular system, skeletal system, so many systems. Each one works in its own little loop, so to say. And they all integrate together to form an organism. If any of those systems gets out of rhythm, so to say, it affects the overall performance or the well-being of the organism. For example, if you eat something and have some difficulty with digestion, you have a problem with indigestion, so to say. And then the result is that you're not feeling well within yourself. You might have vomiting, you might have diarrhea, which are different ways of the body trying to expel what has been taken in. And when that one system goes out of the way, well, the whole day has gone out of balance. You cannot go to work, you are feeling tired, you need to recover and all that. So you see how one small thing can throw the whole organism out of balance at the physical level. Or it could be some injury or something and it's taking some time to recover and you're not able to perform your normal activities. Okay. Yeah. But more at the mental level, certain emotions and feelings can also throw the mind out of rhythm, so to say. We thrive in a very harmonious environment. Okay. We are comfortable with others and others are comfortable with us. There is an exchange of sharing and caring and giving and all those things that are happening. And when that is happening in a beautiful way, then we say it's a happy family, happy environment and all those type of things. But when that is somehow disturbed, the rhythm is disturbed, then tensions begin to arise, and tension is a sign that you make an effort to go back and re-establish that rhythm. So people will do so many things to re-establish that rhythm. Okay, please other people, be nice, kind, and this and that, because something otherwise can jar the relationship and that becomes a very not so happy workplace or family situation. But before we go to the outside people, we all have within us a set of values, ideologies that we believe in.
Yeah.
And we try to make our actions be in harmony with those ideas.
Yes.
So we choose a job or set of actions, or we make decisions that resonate with our conscience, and we are happy with what we are doing with our own value system, so to say.
Yeah.
Now, situation can come where one is forced to step out of it. At work, somebody has asked you to do something which doesn't really gel with your own internal values, but you need the work, job and things, and you do it, but you feel bad about yourself. I should not have done that. I don't feel good about myself after doing that.
And you can't sleep well.
You can't sleep well. If you're a very sensitive person, for some people, it doesn't really, the thick-skinned, you might say. They might do something, it is there for a while, but they shrug it off and carry on. But there are other people who have a bit of a delicate skin, so to say, that worries them, and they don't want to put themselves in a situation where they would have to repeat that. And should they have to repeat them, that will make the situation worse about their own self-respect, their own self-value of who they are. And so it creates this internal conflicts, so to say. Those internal conflicts are more difficult to live with for very sensitive people than living with the outside world.
Yes. Okay. Live with themselves, right?
Yeah, because, in your mind, it is there all the time, reminding you, should not have done this, or I have done something that has causing harm to somebody.
Yes.
And that type of feeling is there. So their self-value of who they are, their goodness about themselves, their well-being goes down a little bit, so to say. And then if they repeatedly do that, it keeps on getting lowered down to a situation where they feel absolutely very bad about themselves.
And because of that, a lot of other things could come into their lives, right? Because they're not at ease, as you say.
Yeah.
They're at disease.
Yeah.
This could start coming in.
Yes. So if you can imagine, a child is coming into this world perfectly happy. Okay. No tension, no stress, no worries. We put them into a situation of education in this, setting up expectations, passing examinations, and, rewarding them for successes and all those things that happen. Some will do very well and their life remains in that rhythm, that is. Others are struggling to match the expectations that the society or the family that has put in there. He makes the best effort. Maybe he's not constituted like that. Everyone is not the same, different level of intelligence and smart and capacities there. But when we push that person so much where they begin to fail, that I don't have that capacity to match my own expectations or expectations of others, that begins to create a little bit of intention inside. That's very, very harmful. It's not easily detected at that very early age. But if it's left undetected, in time it becomes a complicated thing, because it has become really conditioned the mind of the child. It could be something like repeatedly you're failing examinations, or people are saying you're not good. Sometimes they could be pretty rude and you are dumb, you stupid type of comments you'll constantly hear from people around who are not very sensitive about them. But all those things are like adding up into the mind of the child, that the society is constantly telling me this is what I am, and it's building that identity. It could be something very subtle, father understands my son is not getting very good marks, and he says I'm going to organize a tutor.
Right. Yes.
But what the father is trying to tell, you are not smart. You're not good enough to learn on your own, like other students are able to do in the classroom. He's not saying that verbally, but the reinforcement in the mind of the child is that, look, and you need some additional help. Some people do need help. Okay, so it's not that father is deliberately trying to do something like that, but when a lot of people constantly tell you, you're not good, that reinforces the identity or the perception of themselves, and they begin to feel they're not good. One example is like autistic children. Okay, not everyone has got the same talent in all fields. So if somebody doesn't excel in a particular field, doesn't mean he's a failure or something. Those same people are extremely good in so many other things, far superior to the so-called normal people. It is, to understand that everyone doesn't have to excel and be wonderful in everything. We have different talents, our different minds are constituted, our intelligence are getting channelized in a certain pathways that are conditioned by previous lifetimes also. We need to have a deep understanding of the individual, far beyond the physical being, as a mental being, as who we are inside. We are not talking about the spiritual part of it, at the mind level, how the mind is conditioned, and in different situations that mind is now interacting with the world.
Yeah. So because of these constant negative comments that this person is receiving, in terms of rhythm, what happens there for them at their individual level?
So, well, rhythm is a sense of, if you let the child sort of be on its own, express yourself, we are not going to be judgmental.
Right.
He will himself find something somewhere, okay, and do that and be very happy with himself.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
So if it's not academic, then it'll be sports, or it'll be, if it's not
Yes,
sports,
you give
it'll
the
be something
choice.
else, yeah.
Yes. Or
artistic.
yeah.
Could become, yeah.
You just have many options, and people will automatically drift around to something that resonates with them, and they engage with it, and it becomes an easy flow. There is some, so inside us, like you visualize there's a spring that is loaded and compressed. It's seeking to express itself, but all of will not express equally. Some might be a good singer, artist, or a scientific person, or mathematics, or something might appeal. But we have to find a way that is natural to that person. Basically, we say, what is the disposition of the mind of that person, or how is the mind constituted? In Sanskrit, you say, what is the swabhava, what is the natural bent of the mind? To be able to identify that and support the child to grow in that way would be far much better than putting one jacket for everyone and say everyone has to be very good in science and maths and chemistry and physics and biology and sports and singing and music and swimming and tennis, whatever. No, that is not how we are all constituted. So I think here parents need to have that deep understanding of the mind of the child that is present in front of them. And same for the teachers, because this is where all the natural training and support and education is happening.
Yeah. Early days. The two sets of people that can influence them most, right?
Yeah.
The teachers and the parents.
Yeah. So basically, what would be the sort of goal of parenting in teaching? Understanding that each one is constituted differently, to have that wisdom to see the difference, the strengths in each one of them, and focus on that rather than focus on the weaknesses there, and support that individual, because when he begins to succeed in what they're good at, they build their self-respect, confidence, esteem. But if you push them in the wrong direction where they constantly meddle with the failures, then they develop some negative idea about themselves. I'm not good at this. My friends are, like my friends or whatever. So I think...
So that would... this is to keep them in that natural state of rhythm as well, right? Because otherwise, if it doesn't constitute with their qualities, then we are forcefully trying to get them out of rhythm, which isn't good for them.
Yeah. So let us then picture an individual, not as a physical being, as a mind. A mind that has got a certain amount of energy. Mind is energy. Yeah. But different minds have different frequencies. Yeah. Okay. Some are high, some are low. So basically, an ideal teacher, an ideal parent would be one who has the deep insight to see and identify the natural frequency of that individual, mental frequency, and then engage that particular person in activities that are conducive to the mental makeup, the nature, the swabhava, the constitution of that person. And that person will do very well there. But when we put him in a different group and that person is not ready for that right now, it's very simple like this. Let us say in a school class system, a student goes in class grade 1, grade 2, grade 3. You put him in the right class, he is happy. He's learning the subject matter, he's confident, he's able to grasp, pass the examination. If you do not place that student in the right place and say he should be in grade 4, but you put him in grade 6, now what does it happen? He goes and does the mechanics of it, attending the class, but he is not learning. He is not fitting in there. He is not understanding because he is not ready for it yet.
The peers are 2 years older.
Yeah, and all that. Or the other way, if you put somebody who's in grade 6 and put him in grade 4, he gets totally bored, I know that, why I'm sitting here. Yeah. He becomes absent-minded and is not focusing, is not engaging. He's not resonating with the teacher. He's not resonating with the students in the class. He's not part of that group. He feels out of the place. You see, that's a good example in a classroom. So a class basically means a class of people. Class means something similar.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. At the similar level of study, understanding. And so basically, if you use this example of an education system where different students are put in different classes where they fit in the class, so to say, and they're happy there, and the growth is natural, step by step, they will move to higher levels. Likewise, a child has come into your family and you are saying, okay, he is a young body, but could be an old soul. Could be very much older than me also in its experience and wisdom. And right now, just because those contents of the mind, the samskaras are not manifesting, it doesn't mean he's an ignorant little child, and that I should treat him as an ignorant person, that I should control and teach him type of thing. The idea of teaching is not a very good idea. The concept of teaching, where we as elders who are the repository of knowledge, we will put information and knowledge into your head, is probably one of the biggest problems in our education system. The Vedanta way of saying is that the soul of the person is omniscient, all-knowing. Knowledge is inside us. The task of the teacher is to remove whatever obstructions that are there so that the inner light will shine through. It's a totally different perspective of it. So if a parent approaches a child or teacher approaches a child in that way, then he says, here's a potentially divine being, has all the knowledge within himself. It could be a very old soul also, far older than me, so I have to treat that person with respect also. And my job is to help that person manifest that inner knowledge and wisdom that is the purpose of his life. How do I facilitate that? And education would that not mean I have to teach him so many things. It will mean he will learn, but learning means manifestation of the knowledge already within us. One way of looking at it is, the wrong way is to look. The mind of the child is like a bucket and I'm pouring water into it. It's an empty something, I'm putting information and knowledge into it. The right way to look at it is a spring coming from the depths of the earth. Maybe a rock or stone is blocking it. I will remove that and let the water gush out in a fountain. Right. That would be a more enlightened way of understanding what's happening in a teaching learning process. But each one has got their own natural rhythm. And to be able to identify what will work for one person and how another one is different in another system is, I think, the task of the teacher. In the old ancient system, students would go and live in a gurukul under this direct supervision of the teacher. And the teacher would observe them from morning to evening through various, not just writing some examination and to understand what they are, through their behavior, through their conduct, through how they follow instructions and what they can do well and what they cannot. And so the instructions is then customized to each one of them. And each one, in the same Gurukula system, there will be some young kids and there will be senior ones there, but the teacher is teaching all of them. But instructions would be personalized, individualized, and the teacher is a great one who understands the mind of the child now. Is grooming and helping the child manifest and grow, all that. Coming back to rhythm, we talked about the working of the rhythm individually within us. So each person, if we develop this understanding of who we are not a physical being. Let us look at ourselves as minds. The minds are conditioned by our upbringing, our culture, our experiences, good, bad, traumatic, whatever is there. They are all coloring the mind. We are seeing the world through the lens of that mind. And if the lens is red, then that red color is superimposed on everything that I see. Okay, if it's blue, then I superimpose that blueness on everything that I see. To acknowledge this coloring that is created by the conditioning of the mind, sometimes people don't perceive people in that way. And we think we see things objectively. No, we are contributing a part of it to everything that we perceive. And we should be able to take that part. Only then we take out that part, then only we'll say we have that objective perception type of thing. It's a very interesting insight to it. But coming back to this rhythm individually in a family, you asked, So we want, the family is the basic unit of the society. We want at least peace and harmony there.
Within the family. Yeah.
Okay, we have got people of different age. We've got the grandparents, we've got the parents, mother and father. Then we've got the children, siblings of different age groups. So our family constitutes a bundle of so many energy pulse, each one pulsating, resonating slightly different. Yeah. But because they are in a similar environment, in a similar culture, similar upbringing, so for example, you're going to the same church, you're living in the same community and all those things, everything is sort of tending to affect the conditioning of the mind likewise. You're able to hold that family together. But each one is like a different flower, different colors. A family would be a garland.
Yes.
And for a garland to be made out of flowers, you need a common thread to run through that.
Yes.
So, the secret of a united, established family is to have something that runs through all of them,
Binds
a common thread. That's binding. So, you might say a family business. Okay, or the parents have handed over the business or trained the children in that way. It's a family business. Everyone is working together harmoniously, share the benefits and income that is there. But it's a well-knit family type of thing. Okay. Or it could be there is a transmission of knowledge, like father is a doctor and, grandfather was a doctor, so children are doctor, and the family business runs in that way in terms of not material things, but in terms of knowledge type of thing. It could be also sometimes some other things might hold the family together. For example, a common ideology. People belong to a particular faith, go to a common same church, and that runs in a deep way. And if, that's what holds the family together.
So it could be sports, right? So
it could be sports.
Father played cricket, the son would play cricket.
Yeah, and all that. But if the son has got that temperament, and if he doesn't have it, no matter how much you try to make him a cricketer, he's not going to happen. And the father has to respect that.
Yes.
If he does not respect that, that this is not the fit, and tries to make him forcefully fit, that will throw that particular person out of rhythm. You see? Because you're not recognizing the individuality of that person. You're not respecting the individuality of that person and trying to fit him. Like, there's a square peg in a round hole. It's not fitting there. So I think a deeper understanding of how we are constituted, we are a bundle of energy. The mind at that level. But each mind is constituted. And if we say what is the signature of the mind, the identifying point, that is the natural frequency, the particular wavelength we are. And you'll find that if you allow them the flexibility to float around, then similar minds will gravitate together. Okay. And so it might happen that people are growing in a family, but they're differently constituted. But then they need to stay together until they need the food, clothing, shelter and all that, and up to the teenage and all that. But the moment they get that opportunity to leave, you find that they drift apart.
Yes.
And drift out sometimes very far away from the family they grew up in.
Yes.
And so where have they drifted apart to, so to say? And you find who are the people they are associating now? The mind has sort of drifted apart and gravitated towards other minds which are similarly constituted.
Yeah.
And they are feeling, this is my friend circle.
Yeah.
We are happy with this group, It could be from different professional point of view. It could be ideological. It could be, nowadays anything and everything, things groups form. But basically a group is a system of people, a group of people that are similarly constituted. And in that, why are they hanging together? Because they're resonating with each other better there.
Yeah. Then they were with the family.
Yeah. Imagine there's a big party, a big gathering. You enter in there. 1,000 people are there all over, moving around the hall, talking, whatever is there. And this is the first time you have gone there. So you go to one group and hear the conversation. They're talking about sport or cricket. You say, I don't like that. So you leave that. And you go to another place. Someone is talking about politics. You say, but somewhere down the line, you'll find some group that you'll say it is interesting. Yeah. What is that is you are beginning to hit that rhythm with them. Yeah. And before you know, you feel very good. You share the ideas and they welcome you in there and you are just happy. The whole evening you spend chatting with them. So visualize this person drifting in. If you had a type of a device that you looked everyone, not as physical bodies, but as minds. And there are so many minds are there and they're all pulsating and communicating, but you'll find something common. Each group has got a sort of rhythm in there. And I think if we begin to look at the whole world, families, organizations, political parties, teams, groups, nations, all that, is a wonderful way to perceive individuals in a deeper way, to see them as minds.
So, I have a question, Swamiji. A mind obviously could be connected within the family, but also over time, as the young person grows, they would make friends that they would resonate with in the as they're growing up through university, high school, and so on. So because they've got another group of minds that are resonating, does that mean they are now separate from the family unit? Because originally they were part of the family unit. And let's say there's some common thread in there. They still catch up whenever they can. Obviously, they're growing, the kids are growing and so on. And they would be hanging out more with their friends now than the family, but there's still something common. Can they be part of these multiple groups? Obviously, they can, right? But
yeah, we're not, of course.
Yeah.
And you'll find it happening all together.
But there's no, so it's not as if they have to leave a unit to join another one. They can be part of multiple units.
They can move around. So like at home, you're part of a family, but when you go to work, you're mixing with other type of people and comfortable with that. It's got sports, friends, or political things. So mind is not just fixated at that, but it can adjust. But the common thing is that it has to have some resonance that will bring it back.
Yes.
Which is what we call, in a very simple way, we love each other. Love, the word love means it's an emotional resonance between two things. It could be people, it could be between your pet dog and yourself, but you feel a resonance and happy in each other's company. So if that person who has a child who has grown up and gone out into the world and got married and engaging with other people, other families, in-laws and all those things, but if there is something common that is still binding with the parents, that person will maintain contact, give a regular phone call, inquire how are you, all that, visit you, take care of you and all those things. But sometimes you find that cord that binds breaks and they become totally detached.
Yeah.
And it's sometimes very painful for parents, when you think, I brought them so well and all that, and now, he doesn't bother even to call. There's no gratitude or something like that. It's just they have drifted away so far away.
Okay. All right. It just seems that there's a lot more to talk about in this, right? So we've talked about the individual so far, and then we've talked about the family.
family, a little bit about, how teachers can look at in these children as a mind, and a mind has got a characteristic frequency. But then, we are not just living in these small circles of family and classroom. That happens in our education days and so forth. But later on, we have to go out in the big wider world, and we interact, organizations, workplaces, we meet all types of people in our community and all that. And it's a constant struggle to find that balance, a peaceful space where we can coexist in harmony with others. And sometimes that doesn't happen, and people will then need to make a change, either suffer in that space where you're not at peace with yourself and around, or at some point people will just take a call and says, enough of this, I'm going to go. And then you'll see sometimes very reactionary type of turbulent decisions and movements happening. If life can go without major jarring, I think it's more peaceful. But sometimes certain things are not in our control.
So being in rhythm with yourself is super important. Then also being in rhythm with family and other units. And where there isn't rhythm, you see that people are not comfortable and they're looking for other areas to go, other groups to join to be in rhythm with them.
Yeah, I think in this discussion, in this episode, we have started a conversation for our listeners to reflect in their own lives and situations and environments. And then let's take this up because it's a very interesting and deep topic and very practical to have that deep insight about ourselves, so that when we make choices in our life, then there's a deep understanding. And I think knowledge is very powerful, and we can make better choices, decisions in life if we know the laws that operate behind what we are, who we are.
Excellent. Thank you, Swamiji. We'll leave it there, and then we'll carry on this topic in the next episode.
Thank you, Sunil.
Thank you for listening. Being in balance, rhythm. For more information, please visit www.vedanta.nz.